lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Alex Murdaugh was kind of surprisingly put on the stand for 10 hours in the span of 2 days to testify in his own defense in his double murder trial. You'll find out why I believe that strategy is a bit surprising later in this video, but before that, we need to dig into the way that his direct testimony and his answers to questioning from the prosecution all revolved around pretty much the same thing: Murdaugh's lies. Hey, I'm Josh Stanford. I'm America's attorney. If you like having a real lawyer's take on the events that you care about, lawyer up by subscribing to this channel. You know it's bad when your own defense team outs you as a liar. So what was the main lie about again? Murdaugh's whereabouts in the immediate run-up to the murder of his wife and son. He originally claimed he hadn't seen them for some hours before they were murdered. Yet video evidence taken on his deceased son's phone showed that Murdaugh was with the victims at the dog kennels where they were murdered, maybe just minutes before the killings. This is a huge thing to lie about.
I always call it massive. Sometimes they say huge.
A very suspicious thing to be caught lying about. Of course, the defense brought this to the attention of the jury to try and mitigate the damage that the lie being exposed by the prosecutor would cause, and to give Murdaugh the chance to put his own spin on it. Well, Murdaugh's reasons for lying, he said, he was paranoid of becoming a suspect due to the history of drug addiction and a distrust of SLED due to past experiences with friends and family. He felt he was becoming a suspect due to the detective's lines of questioning and because he was tested for gunshot residue, and so he lied to deflect the attention from himself. You know what? Let's circle back to that. Now, this is a tried and true, sometimes, not always, strategy by lawyers, actually for hundreds of years. If you're gonna put an important witness on the stand, but they have some baggage, some bad facts associated with them, then it's best to confront those bad facts early to try to diffuse them. But I mean, what if the facts are so bad? What if there's no coming back from the bad facts? Like, and I'm just spitballing here, what if it's documented that you're a liar like 50 times over? Well, now that the jury has a taste of the lies that Murdaugh has told, what does the prosecution do? Well, they drive that nail in deeper and deeper and deeper by going through detailed accounts of Murdaugh's lies to clients, to friends, and even to family, stealing from clients and stealing from his own law partners, lying to his family. But the prosecutor didn't do this by category. No, instead he went name by name by name by more names and confronted Murdaugh. But really he was confronting the jury with Murdaugh's years and years of lying. I mean, it was a parade of people that Murdaugh confirmed that he had, in fact, lied to. Lots of lies. And all of this was designed to ruin Murdaugh's credibility. Listen to this amazing quote from the prosecutor. Every single one of these lies, you had to sit down and look somebody in the eye and convince them that you were on their side when you were not, correct? Wow. That's from prosecutor Creighton Waters. Sidebar, this is a brilliant strategy. I love this approach by the prosecutor. It gives him an anchor that he can go back to during his closing argument and really hammer home the fact that Murdaugh cannot be trusted. Now, Murdaugh, to his credit, admits to every single crime and lie. He had no choice. This is either his watershed moment, all the lying is behind me, or it isn't. Well, the prosecutor's banking on the assumption that the jury will not believe that a career liar all of a sudden has decided to play by the rules. And so eviscerating was the questioning about the past lies that Murdaugh frankly and directly admitted to stealing money, millions of dollars from clients and law partners. I mean, those confessions will be not so great for him in his 99 state criminal charges for financial theft. Remember that very first lie I mentioned at the beginning of this video? The story Murdaugh made up about not being at the kennels or not being with his family right before they were shot and killed? The lie he had to tell because he was in danger of becoming a suspect and he didn't trust the law enforcement department? Well, in a completely surprising and unexpected twist, that was also a lie. To wrap up his cross-examination, the lead prosecutor played a body cam recording for the court of the first deputy who arrived on the scene. A video that shows Murdaugh immediately lying about his whereabouts and when he had last seen his family. This obviously contradicts Murdaugh's story that he had only lied because he was being questioned and tested and didn't want to become a suspect. This was the first deputy on the scene. Nothing had happened yet, but Murdaugh still lied. Now, you know how I always say that the trial isn't like it is in the movies? Well, this is as close as it gets. This is the you couldn't have gotten a perm moment from Legally Blonde.
And wouldn't somebody who's had, say, 30 perms before in their life be well aware of this rule?
So I promised I would tell you why it's so strange for a defendant in a murder trial to testify, and here it is. You can rarely help your case. I mean, you can. Sometimes the jury just wants to hear someone say, I didn't do it. Nowadays, generally, murder cases are tried with forensic evidence, direct evidence. But in the Murdaugh trial, it's a purely circumstantial case. And what I mean by that is that there's nothing that directly ties Murdaugh to the murders. There's no murder weapon, no camera footage, etc. Because of that, if he were a credible witness, it might provide real value to his defense for him to deny that he was the murderer. The problem is that he is not a credible witness. And not only does he have a demonstrated history of lying, but he even lied about the reason that he lied. I don't think I can overstate the significance of this. He said that the reason that he lied to law enforcement officers was that he was concerned that they were investigating him, so he had to stop telling the truth. But the first law enforcement officer, the guy with the body cam footage, the first guy that he talked to, this guy was not investigating him. Murdaugh wasn't a suspect. No, Murdaugh was lying because he knew that he would become a suspect based on his proximity to the murders. And why was he proximate to the murders? Well, the prosecution has made a pretty compelling case that the reason is that he was, the murderer. While the media coverage here, including my commentary, focuses on the fact that Murdaugh testified in his own defense, and that's pretty unusual, and that he was not credible or likable, it probably doesn't really move the needle and probably doesn't cost Murdaugh anything to have testified. Without Murdaugh's testimony, I would say there's probably a 99% chance that he's convicted. But if just one juror believes him, then he gets acquitted. Isn't there at least an additional 1% chance that at least one juror would believe a proven career liar? Different people find credibility in different ways. And so if a murderer's chance of not getting convicted goes from 1% to 2% by testifying, then he's doubled his chances of success. That's a pretty good investment. Well, I don't believe it's worked. Let's say he somehow talks himself out of these murder convictions. He's also talked himself into conviction for his financial crimes. And he confessed to so many of them. His public life as a lawyer is definitely over. And there's really no way he doesn't end up in prison because of these other crimes. So maybe it happens a little later rather than sooner. But the fact that he's confessed to so much theft and embezzlement is the end of the road for Alex Murdaugh. Which makes me wonder why he simply wouldn't confess to the murders. And that makes me reflect on the lack of a very clear motive. The prosecutors want the jury to believe that it has something to do with covering up for other crimes that he or his family members may have committed. But that doesn't really make sense in view of the fact that the solution double murder of loved ones is worse than the original problem itself, fraud and embezzlement, etc. Now, I have another theory, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it. It may be that he didn't kill those people. I'm going to say that I'm only 99.5% sure that he did. Hey, with another 0.5%, Murdaugh may have a chance at freedom. Until the embezzlement trial. Very soon, we'll either have a conviction or an acquittal. You already know my thoughts on how this is going to go. But now it's time for your pro se opinion. If you watched the Murdaugh testimony, what were your thoughts on it? Do you think the prosecution's strategy of leaning on his past will outweigh the fact that the evidence is mostly circumstantial? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And as I always say, if you made it this far in the video, you have found a community for you. So stay here by lawyering up and subscribing. I will be back very soon with more videos. See ya.